Morning, guys. Happy Thursday. We're almost there to the end of the week. I have to admit, I'm drinking lemon and water instead of coffee or tea today, which might be some indication of my current state of affairs. Don't worry. It's not because I drank a bunch of margaritas last night, although that would have been great. It's just been a long week and a lot of work, and it's been good. It's been a good week. We have a lot of big international stories to discuss today. We're going to discuss them over pancakes. I did take the easy way out today. We did some of those pancakes you can actually put in the toaster, but that have a little protein that make you feel like it's okay. Have you guys heard of these? I've mentioned them before. This is not an ad, by the way, but I really like them. And by the way, they should totally sponsor us. So we're gonna need to figure that out. Anyways, they're perfect for moms because you can give them to your kids and you don't feel guilty. And then if you need to eat a few extra, like, it's okay. Okay, so let's talk about the big news of the morning we're all waking up to, and the news you're going to see today, which is all about North Korea and the president, because the meeting between the North Korean leader and President Trump ended earlier than expected. In the first writings of this, early this morning as the news broke, I was struck by how negative the reporting was. This summit did not end with a deal, but that was a big if that a deal was going to be reached in a matter of 24 hours with a nuclear nation that multiple American presidents and administrations have tried to reach a nuclear deal with in the past. And that's one thing I want you just to know. This is not to alleviate President Trump of any responsibility that he now shares for trying to find a deal with North Korea. But I think what you should know is that North Korea is a huge bipartisan problem. It has plagued multiple administrations of both Republicans and Democrats. There have been a variety of different ways that America has tried to engage North Korea. We have tried talking. We've tried these sanctions that punish them in their economy. That's already a really tough economy. We have tried to be aggressive. We have tried to be kind. We have tried all sorts of different things. And regardless of who has tried and when they have tried, North Korea has continued to develop its nuclear program. And so what the situation looks like today is that North Korea wanted the United States to take their foot off the pedal of these sanctions that we've put on North Korea, that we put on to try to force them into a deal. And President Trump said, no deal. No, that's not what we're going to do. And the meeting ended. Now, I love the quote that one of my colleagues found from a South Korean, I would say, I don't want to say researcher, expert, think tanker, observer, who said, listen, sometimes these meetings end this way, and you don't know eventually what's going to be the conclusion, the end conclusion. So let's see. President Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. He says that he's a great negotiator. So let's just see what happens. Before we call this like a completely failed operation, let's just sort of see what happens. That's what I would say. And just remember, again, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. North Korea has been a challenge and a unsolvable problem if our goal is to prevent them from having more nuclear weapons or to denuclearize them completely, which means that they would somehow get rid of all the nuclear weapons and programs that they have going, which, by the way, is still a little bit unknown. You know, that's something interesting about North Korea, and I think it's really cannot be stated enough. Remember all the people you're going to hear talk about North Korea today, no matter how smart they are? The majority, 99.9% of them have never been there. And that includes our own officials. I mean, we've seen Secretary of State Pompeo go to North Korea, and different officials over the last several years. But in general, the people that you're going to hear the most often and be quoted the most have never been there because we can't travel there because we don't have diplomatic relations. Hey. Diplomacy, guys. Diplomacy. Talk it out. I love you. Can you eat your pancake? It was a fighting word. It stuck out its tongue at me. We don't say that word either. I don't like it. I want to see you guys eat your pancakes.
But she threw a pancake.
I saw that, and I didn't like that, Liberty. I saw it. Remember, I see everything, even when I'm not looking at you. Okay, speaking of motherhood, I have a really fun study to tell you guys about. Actually, two really fun studies when it comes to sleep. Put that down, that's daddy's. Okay, two new studies out. One is about sleep satisfaction when you're a parent. And okay, these German researchers looked at men and women over the course of 7 years, okay? Hey, you're proving my point here on sleep and I appreciate it, but you guys need to eat something and stop messing with daddy's computer. Okay, they looked at sleep satisfaction and duration, and guess what they found? They found that a parent's sleep does not return to pre-baby levels at least for 6 years. After their first child. So I'm totally not there yet. But I also would really want to know from parents that have children that are teenagers whether or not they feel like their sleep is back to somehow a satisfactory level after the 6th year. Because I highly doubt that. Just pick it up. Pick it up. So that's one study. Okay, for the first 3 months, the worst part of sleep for you as a parent is when your first baby is 3 months old. That is like the zenith of the worst sleep, according to the study. And men are less affected than women, where women lost about an hour of sleep during the first 3 months. On average, men lost 13 minutes. So anyways, listen, I mean, when I'm thinking of the first 3 months of my kids, I definitely lost more than an hour of sleep. So I don't know maybe who these other women, like the women in the group kind of averaged each other out. Maybe some are sleeping great. I don't know. But that's what the study says. What's interesting about it is that there's another study, completely different study, that was taking a look at what happens when we're in a deep sleep. And there's more and more evidence suggesting that when we're in a deep sleep that's really restful, that our brain is allowed to clear out toxins that it builds up, proteins. And that's why deep sleep is really important for us. Yes? No, you can't. But I love you. You should go get dressed.
No.
Okay, we'll negotiate later. I'm almost done. Just give me a second.
Can I play a little game with
No,
the bird?
not right now.
What?
You need to go get dressed. If you go get dressed, we can. Go get dressed. Okay. Okay. So what I think is interesting about these two studies is, like, if you're a parent, you're definitely not getting deep sleep, which means that we have a whole lot of toxins probably left over in our brains. These toxins are important because some studies, initial studies, are saying that they're attached to Alzheimer's and dementia later on in life. But remember that there's a lot of different studies about the causes of those diseases. So this is just an early maybe association between, well, what about these toxins and sleep levels? So thank you. So hold on one second. I'm almost done. So that's just something I think you guys should think about. What was also interesting, just going back to that German study about sleep satisfaction and parenthood, is that it didn't matter if you were a single parent, you were not a single parent, you were rich, you were poor, it didn't matter. It was just parenthood in general, you were impacted by a total lack of sleep satisfaction. And so I thought that was really interesting. Okay, just one other international issue I want to flag for you, because we talked about it yesterday. It was India and Pakistan, right? The tensions were super high. Both of them have nuclear weapons. Please don't do that. It looks like in these last 24 hours, there's a little calming of the tensions. Pakistan says they're going to return a captured Indian pilot that was shot down in their territory. They say, let's wait and see what happens there. But initial indications, where yesterday it was like, this is really tense, a miscalculation could lead to war. Now it's like, okay, it looks like the leaders are talking about diplomacy and things are rationing down. One thing that India said, they said, listen, if we're going to see terrorist attacks, that's what they're calling the attacks inside Kashmir, which is the disputed territory, if those continue, we're going to continue to bomb inside Pakistan. That's not a good thing. Give me that right now. Hand it over.
It's mine.
It's not yours. It's not. Can you imagine me giving a whistle to a 4-year-old? That would never happen. So, okay. Okay, so those are the 3 things I think you need to know about today. Remember North Korea? President Trump left. The meeting ended with no agreement. Let's reserve judgment to see what happens over the next several weeks. Right now, it's status quo with North Korea as it has been, except there is an open line of communication between the White House and North Korea where there hasn't been in the past. Stop, please. Second thing you should know, looks like India, Pakistan, things are things are ratcheting down. That's good for that part of the world, especially because those countries have nuclear weapons. And you have 2 new sleep studies that are really talking a lot about how and here's the takeaway. Dr. Winter, who's the author of Sleep Solutions, I wrote him last night. Great doctor, hilarious, really interesting to talk about sleep. Can't recommend his book more, The Sleep Solution. And I said, hey, what do you think about these studies? He's like, listen, the big takeaway from these studies is that sleep matters. And that if you really feel like you're not getting satisfactory sleep, like you need to figure out how to get more satisfaction when you sleep. It can't be something that's an afterthought. It has to be something that you really deal with. And I thought that was a really good point. Although I have no idea totally how to solve that problem in my life. Dr. Winter in the past has told me, you really have to go to bed around the same time, even if you don't fall asleep completely. It's about having your routine and not being on your devices and really tracking your sleep to see, is it really as bad as you think it is? Anyhow, if you have any questions about sleep, Dr. Winter is he's on social media, and he's also got a great book out on Amazon. And if you go to our Amazon shop, which is SmartHER News, it's amazon.com/shop/SmartHER News. I have some of our favorite books there for you to check out. Okay, guys, it's almost Friday. I'm going to go deal with all of this and the leftover pancakes no one ate. So, it's status quo in this household too. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you later.